Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and today we're going to be looking at the latest box from Artful, which is now branded the Art School in a Box. They have had a few little problems with delays, so this is the December box. They did tell us that it was going to be a little bit late, and this quarter we are looking at clay. So I'm quite excited about this. My only concern, and this is what popped into my head when I saw this, because I try very hard to keep away from social media and spoilers when it comes to these boxes because I want you to have my genuine reaction. When I saw that this was clay, the first thing that's popped into my head and that makes me worry slightly is that I really hope that Artful isn't going to turn into a sort of novelty crafts box, because they are going to run out of mediums eventually. Knowing what I know of the company and knowing what I know of Jamie, who heads up Oh Dear, I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a concern of mine that we're going to end up with craft projects, and arts and crafts obviously are very close together. I am not into crafts, I like to art. So it'll be really interesting to see as time goes on with this subscription how these boxes develop and what Artful are actually going to do once they run out of mediums. But enough of that just now. I love these boxes. They're basically a really meaty quarterly subscription box. You can buy them standalone or you can subscribe to them. I like them because there's a lot in them and there is enough, more than enough, to tide you over and keep you going until the next quarter. I've just lifted the lid and the whiff of clays hit me in the face. It's like I got a waft there. Okay, let's get stuck in and find out what's in this box. Art School in a Box. Let's learn about clay and other stuff, and there is some really cute things on the front, like this little worm who's clearly in his pyjamas. That is adorable. Okay, my first question was going to be what kind of clay is it? And it is air dry clay. And they've given us it in bags. They are resealable, so that is the first brownie points to Artful. How many times have you got kits or art subscription boxes and they've come wrapped in plastic and they are not resealable? Jackie, the nerdy crafter, she used to go on about that all the time, about things not coming in resealable packages. I'm really interested to find out the quality of this clay. Personally, I don't really like air dry clay because I tend to find that once it's been opened, it's never quite the same consistency. Air dry aspect of it, if you're working on stuff, you have to cover it up if you're not going to do it all in one sitting. But we'll not worry too much about that. We'll try it out and see how it goes. We've got air dry clay, I've got a sponge, I've got another Artful paintbrush, I've got quite a collection of these now. A pencil. And we all know it is another F pencil, which is good because that's the grade of pencil I use the most, but what can I say? There's a sticker for that. We have got some stuff. What is this? Glossy varnish and acrylic black. Okay, so that's so we can paint some of it. I'm assuming any type of acrylic paint would work with this clay. And we have different sculpting tools here. So they have a metal end, they've got a triangle shaped one, and one that looks like a sort of a scoop. So that's something I would use in my walk. This one has a loop and a slight slope on it, but it's rounded at the end. This one's a sort of sharper version of that, and it's got a little bulbous end to it, and then this one looks like a duck. The other end looks like a pointy duck. So we've got a good selection of tools. What else have we got? Ooh! And we've got a little sketchbook as well, so I'm assuming that this is to sketch out our ideas, obviously. Oh, love it. Well, isn't this an interesting box? So there's quite a lot of stuff going on here. I don't know much about clay. I have worked with polymer clay, which I really enjoyed. It's really time consuming and it's a lot more difficult than it looks. I'm assuming the air dry clay is going to be the same situation as just air dry and not put in the oven clay. So I wouldn't say I have no experience, but I don't have a lot of experience. Let's open this up. This looks like recycled paper as well, which I love, 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 love. Instructions: use a smooth, clean and flat work surface. Keep a bowl of cold water nearby to keep clay workable and help slip your joints. Air dry clay is porous and may absorb water even after drying. The glaze will help give your creations good protection, however outdoor use is not advised. For best results, use within 2 months of opening. Write the date opened in the space above. You mean the space below? I think you meant the space below Artful. For me, 2 months isn't long enough. 2 months is only 8 weeks. I do not have a lot of time, and there is no way I am going to use 2 massive bags of clay in 8 weeks. That is not going to happen. So, and those are big blocks of clay. So you know what that means? It means we're going to have to make really big creations. It'll be fine. Right, so that's the clay. This is my flat surface. This is this is half a tile from my utility room floor. Obviously it's a nice smooth surface. I'm really reluctant about the bowl of cold water because I am absolutely freezing today. It's not warm here in the cave, but I really want to get this out and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go get a bowl of cold water. Okay, I just had a quick peek in the magazine there, and these blocks of clay are the same. They're not coloured or anything. So they've given you 2 lots of clay. So that means I can keep this one good. So I'm going to pop that out the way. I have gone and grabbed a bowl of water. I just want to see what this clay looks like and have a feel of it. And then I'm going to put it back in the bag. And we're going to jump into the magazine and learn a little bit more about everything. Take a look at what's on offer. And then we might have a go if we've got time at making something. So it feels pretty soft. It doesn't feel as if this is, you know, we're going to be like slogging away trying to work with this. And it does have a tear tab as well. Which, I'm saying that, come on. Yeah. Can't get into it. Marvellous. Love it when this happens. Yeah, that did nothing. Sorry, craft knife. Get out. So just for, obviously you, in order to make clay malleable, oh there's a good word for an afternoon, we have to manipulate it, but just for an idea of softness, it's very wet, it's very tacky, you can see the marks that's come off in my hands already. It doesn't take much. That I would call that medium pencil pressure. A light touch isn't going to mark the clay, and a really heavy touch is going to put a fair dent in it. So it is, I would say it is like a medium consistency, a medium thickness. There are benefits to having really soft clay. Obviously it's really easy to work with. It's easy on your hands, especially for someone like me that's got a dodgy hand. The downside to really soft clay is you basically breathe the wrong way near it and it leaves a mark in it. So if you're trying to make something really smooth and nice, it's not the easiest to use, and you're not going to be able to get a lot of detail work in. Really, really hard clay is very hard on your hands, and it requires a lot of work and really strong fingers. The advantage to that is you can get loads of detail in tiny little parts in, and it'll hold its shape, and if you knock it by accident you're not going to ruin like half of your sculpture. So benefits to both, and I would say this is probably in the middle but towards the softer end of the scale, I would say personally, without actually manipulating it. So that's nice. But if I take a wee bit off, like I can pull a bit off no problem, and I can give that a wee squeeze. Give it a squeeze, and it's fairly easy for me to make that into a little ball. You can see it's quite tacky. Obviously we want to keep this wet though, because if it starts to dry it's going to dry out and then we can't use it because it's going to harden. So that's why I would imagine that air dry clay is on the wetter side, because it's supposed to be. But I can do I could do basic things with that and make that into certain shapes. That's not a problem at all, so I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to pop this back in its wee bag just now, its wee foil bag. Keep it fresh, keep it wet. Oh, pop that back in there too, and I'm just going to seal that up for a wee minute. Right, before I grab the magazine, I'm just going to move this tile out the way, and I'm going to give my hands a little wipe as well. Alrighty ho, that's me cleaned up a bit. I was washing my hands there and I'm scrubbing away at this part here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I thought it was paint. I got jabbed in the hand by a cow last night who had horns, and she jabbed her horn into my hand and she's actually like bruised my hand. It's only sore when I press it though, that's why I never noticed it. But you know what I mean? I'm like scrubbing away, I'm like, ow! Oh, problems, honestly, farmer problems. Okay, so let's learn about clay and other stuff. They've got a little bit, as they do with every magazine, there's a bit at the start about Artful and the kind of things that this had in the magazine, blah, blah, blah. There is a section here on clay, so a little blurb about clay there as well, which is nice. And then we've got this lovely teal contents page. This matches the colour of my kitchen. And here is a note from the editor, which is lovely Jamie. And it tells you about some of the little projects we have here, which is nice. Sculpt a hand, no thank you. Okay, So let's get to the important bits. The materials, right? Okay, so there's two 500ml bags of air dry clay as discussed. So they're both the same. They're that neutral colour. So that has the potential to last you a very, very long time. I like it a lot. The set of 4 dual-ended carving tools, as discussed. They look like something that belongs in my my kitchen. While your hands are usually the best tool for sculpting and making, these sets of dual-ended carving and smoothing tools will be great to help you create definition and detail. The black acrylic, perfect for decorating your creations once they are completely dry. I'm assuming that's why we've been given a paintbrush as well. The glossy varnish, it's a good idea to protect them. Apply a generous layer of this varnish to give it a glossy finish. The pencil. Great artwork often needs great planning. This light pencil is perfect for drawing out ideas in your notebook or laying out your design directly onto the clay. The round paintbrush. Ta-da! This brush is great for some detail work and applying coats. The A5 notebook. 20 sheets of 100 GSM light sketching paper, so it is literally just sketching paper. It's not meant to be for anything fancy. The round sponge. A small round sponge ideal for smoothing. Oh, I never thought about using this. I think that texture might actually make a mark on that clay though. I'm not sure. We'll try that out because that's quite a firm sponge in terms of sponginess, if that makes sense. I like this sponge though. This very magazine. See pages 12 to 15 for the basics of working with clay. Okay, so they are going to give you a bit of an introduction, which I would hope would be nice. And there's also a brief history of clay. I like it when they include things like this about a medium. I think it's quite important to build up your knowledge and just not know how to use a thing, but why you're using it and why it's come to be something that you would be using. So I like to sit with stuff like this with a cup of tea and just read it, you know, at a leisurely pace. And they've put quite a lot into this. Talking about construction, obviously brick made out of clay, some statues and some pottery. Okay, I love the layout of this. Prepare your workspace. So we're starting at the beginning. So preparation is key. Before you start, make sure you have everything you're likely to need. Sponge. Keep your sponge in a glass of cold water to hand. Oh, they wanted a bowl earlier, now it's just a glass. You'll be using these a lot to smooth your clay and wash your hands. Surface. The clay will want to stick to the surface and will become very difficult to remove. It will also leave an imprint of the texture of the surface you use. So it's best to pick a smooth, non-porous material for your work surface, such as a plate or a smooth chopping board. Be sure to thoroughly clean with hot soapy water after use. It is also handy to use a board that can be easily picked up. This is so that you can rotate your creation without touching it. Now, interestingly, I got one of these, which is a Lazy Susan. This was just a cheap one. I used to use it for decorating cakes because obviously it's easier to hold your piping bag steady and move the cake. So you obviously would use one hand to move your turntable and one hand to pipe with. And I actually brought it through to the cave because I don't decorate cakes anymore. And it was really handy for when I was doing my my polymer clay projects last year. So there we go. I've got this for good purpose. Slip. If you're going to be joining bits of clay together, be sure to make your slip first. So it's going to show you how to do it. Basically, think of slip as like your super glue. It's basically just a sloppier version of your clay that you can use as like a joining material. But we'll get into that in a wee minute. So preparing your clay. To prepare it, take it out of the bag, knead it between your hands for a couple of minutes until it is smooth and soft and less sticky. Make sure you wrap up any remaining clay in the bag that you're not using to prevent it from drying. So there's also chat here about adding water to it and keeping your hands cool. This is a problem for people like me because my hands are always roasting. It was also why I was told I wouldn't make a good pastry chef, and guess what? I was an excellent pastry chef. So you just have to keep dipping your hands. A really handy chefy tip for keeping your hands cool for working with pastry, or in this case clay, is to run the pressure points in your wrists under cold water, because that is where the blood flow goes into your hand. So if you cool this part, everything that's running past that part is cool. That's like the traditional way to do it if you're talking about pastry. So there you go, transferable skills, guys. And there's a bit here in drying time as well. It is slow drying, 12 to 24 hours to dry completely. It obviously depends on the humidity and the temperature of the room. That kind of goes without saying. To speed up drying time, use a hairdryer on a low heat. Okay, so we've got a little bit on techniques here. Carving, kneading, scoring, that's a bit like hatching, there we go. And blending. The best tools for blending are your hands, but your curved knife tool, so it is referencing specific tools. So that's really helpful if you're all new to this. So this one here, the one they said that belongs in my wok. Yes, okay. Your curved knife tool is great for blending out larger bumps and cracks in your finished pieces, and your sponge is also a good tool for blending. Add a little water to your sponge, spreading it into your clay will make a nice even finish on your piece. So here they were talking earlier about a slip. Okay, so the consistency is a smooth paste. That's what you're looking for. So there's actually, and it gives you like measurements as well. And they tell you a little bit about applying your varnish as well. So they are actually covering the absolute bare bones, which I think is absolutely lovely. It's so nice and it's so refreshing, because a lot of the time with some of these subscription boxes, you get something and you either get minimal information or just the basic information and nothing further on. And it's one of the things I love about Artful. They cover all the bases, so it doesn't matter where you are in your art journey, you can slot in somewhere and enjoy yourself with the box. So we've got Holly Cooper here, who clearly is a sculptor, sculptress, assuming a female gender. Sculptress. I wonder if there's a unisex word or whether sculptor's just used for, I don't know. But if anybody knows the answer to that, please feel free to tell me. Look at her vases, they are so cute. Oh my good grief. Yeah, okay, no, she's a potter. Is she a potter? She might be a potter. So we've got an interview with her here. Oh, always appreciate the dogs. Ponky Watts, unusual characters in 60s fashion-inspired ceramics. Jade's unique character-based creations. Can you tell I was doing my proper job before I started filming this? Equation. These are hilarious, look. These are fun. I like them a lot. I don't know what I would do with them, but I like them. I really like this one with the derpy eyes. Like, I love derpy things. Oh, look at the frog as well. Oh, these are lovely. This brings me so much happiness. Oh, he's a candle holder. He's a lemon candle holder. Oh, my word. Oh, Ponky Watts. I'm like going to have to follow this one on Instagram, guys. I love this. Jade, I love your Ponky Watts. Oh, goodness me. Okay, so we've got the adverts. The daily drawing challenge. I mention this nearly every time we do an Artful box. If you're ever looking for inspiration or you need something to draw, follow the hashtag Artful Daily Challenge on Instagram, and they have a prompt every day and they post tons of work. So if you submit it, there's a chance that it'll show up on the reels as well. Anthropomorphic handmade ceramic silliness. There seems to be a lot of silliness going on in this episode. Look, these look like a cross between, I was going to say like starfish and biscuits. I love it. It's a platypus that's got spectacles. There's a hippo and a stripy jumper also. Oh my goodness me, this is fun. See, if I worked with clay, this is kind of thing I would do. It would definitely be animal based. And there's fat pandas with tiny balloons. And there's fat frogs with, well, just fat frogs. A really unhappy fat frog. This is amazing. Oh, probably one of my favourites, actually. Okay, Nosy Mungo, you're also being followed on Instagram. Okay, this looks a bit more serious. Nina Godfrey's dinner party. The whimsical meets the functional. Okay, so she makes candle holders and vases and things to put grapes in. Okay. Oh, these are quite interesting. Yeah, this is a bit... I was about to say this is a bit more sensible. Clearly it's not, but... More advert pages. Oh my god. Oh my god. I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. Like, look at this. I'm loving this magazine. Like, I'm just loving the magazine. These are so cute. I don't know, once again, I don't know what I'll do with them, but... Clearly, whatever we're going to make has to have, like, derpy eyes. Because derpy eyes are obviously the in thing right now. Really nice. Oh Dear goes to art school. Our team at Artful HQ have been a little busy recently, so we decided to give them a bit of a break from the usual day-to-day. We tasked Libby, Tom, Joe and Harley with creating and painting their very own desk pet giraffe using the same clay you'll find in your Artful box. That's hilarious. Okay, so they're making their staff use their boxes. That's a good sign. Got the old Artful paint out there as well for some decorating. Maybe I should be making my giraffe. Oh, look. This is they get given a reference giraffe. That's hilarious. So Joe in the finance team, his giraffe is basically a sausage dog with a long neck because it's got tiny legs. Harley's is a giraffe crossed with a tiger. Yeah, and this one's clearly a zebra. Okay. Oh, that was so funny. I love it. I actually love it. Peppa Espinosa. Oh, look, these are pretty. These are so pretty. Oh, wow. That's a lot of painting. A lot of patience for that, guys. This is what I mean, like, so inspirational. Like, super, super inspirational. Ones to follow, so the section with the Instagram examples of people that use usually similar mediums, but they've just chucked in loads of stuff today. Very interesting indeed. This is a lovely art style. Irene Naiman. Bullshit. Chuck Black, talented guy. I don't think I follow him on Instagram, but I've seen his work before. This lady is called Grace Brown, and she makes some very interesting bits and pieces as well. Oh, very interesting. Oh, likey. Super nice. This is a selection of tools that she uses. Yeah, you can use a lot of household objects to mould clay. Twist knot with Holly Cooper ceramics. Okay, right, so this is, now. Oh, Artful have been listening. Look in this corner, guys. They give you a skill level. They give you how long it's going to take and what tools you're going to need so you can get organised before you start. I like this. Okay, yeah, right, my thing with this is I wouldn't say I'm a beginner. I'm not far off a beginner when it comes to clay, but what am I going to do with a twisty knot? See, this is... yeah, okay. So step by step, really good close-up instructions as always, and we're doing a bit of painting as well. And there's a coil pot, skill level intermediate, times 60 minutes. We definitely don't have time for that. Oh, look, I've got painting as well. These are superb, absolutely superb. Intermediate, 85 minutes. And a relief press bowl. Oh, that's kind of cute. Please make one of them to put your keys in, look. Oh, that's cool. That is so cool. Painting it. Sculpt a hand, skill level advanced. No. Time 120 minutes. Can you imagine me trying to sculpt a hand? That would be absolutely diabolical. I know that I know that the next thing that's going to come out my mouth is a problem. Because if I ask you guys to tell me what project you want to see in another video, you're going to say the hand. I know you're going to say it. That might be absolutely horrendous. I am absolutely in love with the Pinch Pot Panda, though. I love the fat panda, and that is also an advanced skill level. But why I would want one, I don't know, but I want one. So. Okay, we've got some really good tutorials. They've kind of restructured the magazine and the tutorials are all together now, which I like, and I love this skill level thing and the time thing, which is great. And then in the back page here, they tell you about other stuff, the extra stuff, about using Instagram and all the rest of it. So that is your Artful magazine. Let's learn about clay. Now that we've been through the magazine, I would like you to go down into the comments and tell me what you would like to see in a separate video as a full project. We are going to have a little bit of a play about just now with the tools and things, but we're not really going to, we're not going to have much to show for it because obviously video length, etc. If you want to see something that's in the magazine, then obviously I will go with the majority, or if you want to see me make something else, you just need to let me know down in the comments. That would be lovely, and that will give us our proper video for testing out the supplies. So I thought what we could do here is we can just take a look at the clay a little bit more closely and kind of do what we would do with more traditional art supplies and test out some of these tools and just see how it behaves with this particular clay. Okay, I'm not going to make a slip because we don't need a slip. I have got my bowl of water here. I've also got a couple of my bigger paint rags. Conveniently, they were under the desk, so I'm going to use those to help keep my hands clean. I'll just leave those there because I'm like, already. Some of you might have noticed that I've not been wearing my wedding ring recently. I had a really sore patch on my finger, and my wedding ring's actually digging into me because I've put on that much weight. It's not because I'm falling out with Mr. Jem, but times like this, I'm actually really glad I don't have it on. So yeah, another New Year's resolution: get your wedding ring back on, Jem. Anywho, I digress. Okay, so that's fairly nice to work with fairly quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time messing about with this here. Let's just, I kind of want to like smoosh this out flatter a little bit. And give myself a bit of a surface, you know. So the first thing I want to try is I'm going to dip this sponge in the water. Give it a bit of a squeeze out. And just see if I can actually smooth out some of my finger marks there, you know, my actual like prints. And the answer is yes. Oh, that's quite smooth. I really don't want to touch my camera now, but I'm going to do it. Oh, right, okay, so if I'm hoping you'll be able to see some of the texture there. But yeah, I mean, you can smooth that out. There's still leaving lines because the sponge is textured, obviously, but it's going to take you to a better place in terms of smoothiness. So let's try out some of these tools, because that will be fun. So the first one I've got here is this rounded one. So, I mean, like, these are so versatile. You can use this to make tapered indents, and you can also smooth out. They were saying, like, if you want to smooth out, that side's really good for it because it's a curve. You've got that advantage there. Also, you can scoop things with that as well. Like if you want to take a chunk out. I was thinking more if you're doing like a profile, like a human face, you could use that to scoop out the part under the nose, between the nose and the top lip or something like that. And also we can peel off bits with, obviously you can use that like a cookie cutter, but also, you can scrape. You can scrape like so. Okay, when my experience of smoothing is to use fingers, and in this case I would use wet fingers. Obviously when it's polymer clay you don't use wet fingers, but look how smooth you can get that just with your hand. Like this, baby smooth. Baby smooth. It's kind of unfortunate that I've got a black t-shirt on today. Didn't plan that out. To be fair, I didn't actually know I would be filming this video today, so I'll give myself a pass. Okay, this one here, let's curl up an edge just for funsies, look. And we'll blend that in. This, we're talking about blending with fingers earlier. Best thing to do, honestly. So this tool here has the same sort of idea. It's got a curved end there. But we can use this round tool. So if I twist it like that, you can take notches out of things if you just twist it round. And then you can start to mould with the other end, or that imprint's quite an interesting. I'm thinking elephant's toenails is ones that springs to mind with that. That's a bit random, but and now it looks like a pasty. Great. So we can make pasties with this too. Marvellous. It smells a bit strange. I'm not really sure what I want this one for. I just like that it makes cool shapes. I suppose you've got a pointy end, you've got a flat side as well. See, I would be tempted to use that to maybe like smooth out an edge or make an edge like this. So if I pick this up now and turn it over, you can see I've made a sort of lip there, but then you know what else as well? You're also going to make really cool frog mouths with that. And then you can start sculpting some lips around it. Yeah, I'm obviously in googly eye mode, like anything that's a googly eye. Wah, wah, wah. Can put some eyes on that. Make it into a stingray. There you go, see? But with derpy eyes, obviously. Yeah, this clay is really nice to work with. I'm having no problems, you know, erasing whatever shape I've just done and giving it a new shape. I do think I need to keep up with the water a little bit more now, just to keep it wet. And again, this too, you know, what do we want to do with that? Do we want to do anything with that? Okay. I'll just made a hole with it. I'm sure there will be plenty of uses for all these tools, and the tutorials will show you which tool is the best tool to use. I like something with a point on it. Pointy points are helpful. And I feel with something like this, like that, I think out of all the tools, I think these two would probably be my tools of choice. I think I would not have enough variety with these, and I probably wouldn't use the other ones much. And I have come across this before, when I've been given mediums that I don't normally work with, I tend to fixate on one tool and just use it for the whole thing. Scratchboard in the up crate, I'm looking at you. My entire cow eye I ended up just using. In fact, when I did the llama as well, I ended up just using the scalpel for that too. Okay, so that very first tutorial about making the knot, it interests me because it's very similar to the I keep going back to cooking. It's very similar to the bread knot rolls I used to make, and I used to have to make like 800 of them every morning. That was my first job in the morning as an apprentice, trainee pastry chef, and we did them in batches of 48. And I used to do 10 batches every morning of rolls in varying shapes and sizes, but the knots were one of them. And we always sprinkled poppy seeds on them. So you would have to, I'd have to roll it out. Like so. Obviously this is clay, this is a little bit different. And you basically just like hoop it round like that, and then you would turn it in like so, and then you would press it down and it would rise in the oven and fill up these spaces, and you would brush it with egg wash, and there you go, that's how you make a knotted bread roll. It's really funny though. Did you see that there? I'm gonna give you a live action replay. See that action? There's like a swinging action there that you use to get it to do it, and that's like built into my muscle memory. I haven't been a chef for over 20 years. Yeah, over 20 years, and I've still got it, and I just do it automatically. That is terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. It really is. Oh dear. Okay, I've got a little blob here, and I kind of want to. I feel like crossing one of the artists in the magazine, like one of their designs, with like Mr. Tickle from the Mr. Men. If you're not from the UK, you probably won't know what that is. If you don't, I strongly suggest you go and look it up, because Mr. Men rock, and they are a childhood staple of very small children. And Mr. Tickle has massive long spaghetti arms and a tiny blue top hat. And all he does is run around and tickle all the other Mr. Men. Probably without consent a lot of the time. I don't think these books are aging well, but never mind. This one's lopsided. I did say I would make something, so I am going to make something. And it's just going to have to be a little creature. That's still damp enough that it's taking the, you know, when I'm adding the clay on there, it's taking it without having to use any sort of slip, because it's not really a joint, and I'm just adding bits on. Okay, so maybe I want to make them ears, so I'm going to press these out, and then just using one of these tools, I'm just going to try and shape some points onto them, like even if they're just very slight. And I can tell you as well, see this clay, it is drying my hands out something chronic. The problem is my hands are already really dry because having cows outside, constantly washing your hands, then coming into the heat. So stick some clay into the mix there, and basically, yeah, you're ruining my hands. But do you know what? Taking one for the team here, guys, because obviously I've got to make a tiny little animal with them. I don't even think I can call it an animal, truthfully. It's a blob that's got some googly eyes and some ears. I'm kind of going into rabbits territory here. I don't know if anybody knows the raving rabbits, but that's kind of where I feel I'm going with this. And if I am, I'm okay with it. I can hear a rather suspicious noise outside. I'm trying to figure out if it's a cow roaring, like to the point where she's crowing away, like woo, or whether it's a chainsaw. One is obviously more concerning than the other. It's a chainsaw, right? Okay, we're cool. I thought if that's a cow, then we've got one really distressed cow, and we might have to go and do something about that. Apparently we're okay. Right, so let's use this to cut. Yeah, my hands are so dry. This is starting to dry out as well. Okay. See, I would be really tempted to just find a pair of googly eyes and stick them on, like once I'm finished, and I cannot get this to stick to itself now, and I've got a pippy here. Now, this is the thing that makes the difference between someone who's really good with clay and someone who's not. Teeth are supposed to sit underneath the lip line, and mine clearly aren't because I've put them on in a weird order. So I am going to try and do something about that by manipulating this a little bit and possibly making a mess, but I'm okay with that. That's better. Okay, so I've got my little dude, and I'm just going to set this off to the sides. I don't know where to put him. Just put him down, Jem, it's fine. Put him the right way up. And yeah, let's put the rest of the clay back in this bag. I love it when... Oh, I have to say, the seal on that bag is really good. Like, it's strong. It's tight. It's Thursday the 19th of January, at least it's on camera, so when I have forgotten later on I can come back and watch this video myself and put the day on. Right, okay guys, so that is the Artful box for this quarter. Obviously, we are going to revisit this the next time we are back visiting this box. Obviously this little guy will be dry by then, and I'll paint him. I'll get out some acrylic paint. But in the meantime, if you could go into the comments and let me know what you want to see me make out of this clay. I think this is a fabulous box. I am enjoying the sort of alternative things just now. Fully happy to embrace this type of stuff. And I know it's not for everyone, and it's messy and all the rest of it, but it's very, very good fun. And for me, that is what arting is all about. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I certainly have. I think that Artful have done a fabulous job in providing us with a set of supplies and an introduction to a medium that perhaps most of us won't be as familiar with. So I'm really appreciating that side of it. I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments on this box. I'm just trying to wipe some of this clay off because it's everywhere. And also what your thoughts are on a project for the next Artful video. So thank you very much for coming and hanging out. If you've made it this far, if you could take a little moment to give this video a thumbs up, I would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all back in the cave on Thursday for another video. So have a great day, everyone, and bye-bye for now.